Today, we're going to talk about how you can use journaling for self-discovery and for creative inspiration. I'm also going to share some journaling or stationery favorites with you all so you can have an idea of how I do that. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Estella and we are going to talk about journaling today. We're going to talk about journaling for self-discovery, how it has helped me with creative inspiration, the types of journaling stationery or accessories I use in order to kind of develop that inspiration, and hopefully it will give you some ideas. So I really wanted to preface by saying that ever since I started journaling, I have really seen a powerful shift in my mood, in my thoughts, in my sense of calmness. And I am really committing to journaling. I am really committing to just using these two journaling books, even though this is like a planner as well, for my process of self-discovery, for creative expression, just for me to kind of have a space where I could share thoughts, ideas, feelings, emotions, and just write about whatever I want, kind of like a flow of writing, brain dumping, and all that. So first, let's talk about, and we're gonna get into the sticker book because I'm gonna show you what I want to do with this. But first, we're gonna get into the current pages that I have. Now this one I have shared on Instagram. I try to share several pages on Instagram, and I have been loving the process because it's been really like therapeutic and also just kind of really inspiring to kind of share what spreads look like, and hopefully it'll inspire others. Also, we have another friend here. She is from Harry Potter. I love Hermione. I love her so much. She's like my attitude. And then my other friend here, like, this is my two personalities, like total nerd and someone who has like the magic and the belief and everything else. I just love it. It's just so cute. All right, so I'm gonna put them here because they're just like my happy place. They really are. Okay, so I just went on a tangent, so sorry. So when it comes to journaling for self-discovery, I like to take images, or I like to take things that I've watched, that I've read, and I really like to pour in my thoughts and how it makes me feel, what I feel when I'm reading it, how I feel about this specific either book, either movie. If it draws an emotion, what emotion is it drawing? Why do I relate to it? Or I take a specific memory or occurrence of the day or what's happening in the day, and I kind of relate it to that. So this was me getting ready to go back into work, and I decided to use this magazine clipping because it's someone who is wearing like boots and kind of like, it looks like they're taking a step, right, to go forward, to begin a new process, a new journey. And for me, it's like taking a step into the new year, beginning work, and really trying to become better at balancing my life as a wife, a mom, a caregiver, and at the same time as someone who's also balancing working and taking care of my home and making time for my hobbies and making time for my faith. So I'm really trying to incorporate all that, and that's what I wrote about. This was when I wrote about a song that I was listening to via Elevation Worship, and I really loved that song. I loved the sermon. So I wrote like a little playlist of the song I was listening to, and that's why I have a tape deck here. I put a quote here. I put like an index or a library card here because I really want this page to be something that I could look back on and connect with that emotion, with that feeling, with that memory, and go back and reread it. Again, I'm using things that have happened, such as my journaling sessions, such as what my current desk and what I'm reading looks like, and how I'm feeling and what that relates to. I like to take different quotes and kind of put that in there. This is just a feeling that I had here, and I use this magazine clipping. And what I like to do is definitely kind of feel what I am experiencing or my current thought or emotion. And this was something that I very much felt, and I wanted to have that emotion like captured and put in some words and thoughts. So I was able to discover something about myself here, right? Like how I'm currently feeling, I want to capture that, or how it relates to my day, or what's currently happening. How is that impacting me? I'm also discovering that I am a person that likes really doing collaging. Collaging is something that brings out a creative aspect to how I journal, how I plan, because it's something that I can put together. It's something that I can piece. It's something that I can literally create pages of my journaling spread and use those to evoke an emotion, to align with an emotion, to basically use an image to define how I am feeling, to express how I am feeling in a page. So this is like for the future. This is getting back into work, how I'm feeling, what was going on that day. This was a lot of errands, drinking a lot of coffee, being exhausted because I'm following a new schedule for my parents because their schedule has been a little hectic and sleep has been rough. So I have here, a depiction of a coffee, drinking a lot of that, having goals in mind of what I want to accomplish, having a ticket here, right? This was a day that I spent going to the supermarket, running errands, drinking coffee, buying flowers, getting cake, just enjoying the sweetness of life. And I wanted to capture that here, and you can see that. It really inspires creativity, right? Because with this, I'm able to kind of create something out of my own thoughts, out of what is happening during the day. And I know some people are like, oh, running errands is boring, going to the supermarket is boring. But taking moments and taking pieces of that stillness, of that quiet, of what is currently happening in life, and just appreciating that and just being still in that, and really just kind of reflecting on that. So I really wanted to capture that. This right here was so funny because I am working on like a writing project, and it's mainly for me. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's basically for creative expression and working on a book and going through that process. But this is like me before writing. Like I had no idea what I was doing. I'm not a prancer. I'm not a plotter. It's like me trying to figure out my writing style, what I want to do, how I want to write. I know the story behind it, but it's still a process, and I don't know where it's going to take me, but I definitely am enjoying just the journey. So I have like alt here, like, when you're typing and you want to go back. So for me, this is very expressive of the beginning of the writing process. And I do have a writing journal, and I do write in that just separately. And it's only about writing with my writing project that I'm working on and things like that. Then here is when I came up with just some things that I accomplished, right? I accomplished, kind of writing an outline, kind of writing a mood board for the book, and putting that mood board here. That's what I did. And it's like, with the film sign here, with a rolling tape here, I just wanted to reflect like, okay, I worked on this. I'm kind of proud. Let's see what happens. And then here, this is If We Were Villains, and I read that book, completed that book, and I wrote about it. And I put in a quote here. I wrote about how I felt about the book. And this was very much like giving high society, like elite, theater academy, and just people putting on like this character or this kind of visual of what is a representation in art imitating life, life imitating art, things like that. And then here we watched Wicked, my husband and I, we watched Wicked again, and together this time, just like us. And it's very hard for us to like go to the movies because of my parents. So like when something comes out, we want to wait for a time to set up a date night and do all that. So we watched Wicked, absolutely loved it. Love Cynthia. her voice is like angelic. I just love Wicked. I could watch that. I really enjoyed that movie experience. And I was talking about Elphaba not fitting in. Like, this is quote unquote the definition of someone who would be defined as pretty or as beautiful. It's a person who would look like her, but here we have, Elphaba in black heels, in black, and just like that definition of beauty and defying it basically. So I love that. And then here I wrote about two different things, like listening to a new book because I'm reading Ninth House. And then here it's like, kind of feeling the need to kind of share my thoughts, my feelings, and things like that. Then I watched a documentary. It's like the final chapter of the Natalia Grace documentary. I watched that, and obviously it was, about something. This is a documentary going in time. The people who are taking care of her were mismanaging her funds. So I put banker here. I also put the word appointment here because I really am enjoying my time in faith and listening to music and worship and things like that. So I have here, always make an appointment with the Lord. So yeah, I have that here, and whatever faith or whatever you believe in and practice, it's whatever you do. But for me, that's what I'm doing. And then Friday, I went on another errand run. I had to go get groceries. I had to buy French fries. My parents love French fries. So, I do get them French fries as a treat, whenever they want to have it. I'll make them that. Most of the time, they're very, very blessed and fortunate because everything that they eat is basically made from whole foods and scratch. So whether it's a stew, whether it's a soup, whether it's, a protein, a grain, everything is cooked right for them. So they do eat, anywhere between 4 to 5 times a day, depending on, if they want a snack or not. So this was talking about my day here, and I just love that. And then this was talking about my new outlook and just kind of really noticing a change. If you notice here, this is like a big signal. Like, she is smiling. She is happy. This is waking up grateful, waking up loving life, waking up looking at the positive, waking up and trying to have slow mornings and appreciating those slow mornings and really just kind of loving that for myself. And I really wanted to capture that. So for me, I'm discovering things that are making me happy. I'm discovering that if I start appreciating the small things and I start appreciating moments where I am enjoying time with my husband or my family, or moments that I am just being creative and going into my art or going into my writing or going into my planning, it's something that I am using to kind of get my creative juices flowing. This is all a process for me where I can literally create something out of paper, out of ephemera, out of photos, right? Using my Kodak Retro Mini 2 and placing these photos here, placing these memories, but at the same time, capturing the slow moments, capturing a project I'm working on, and capturing that feeling using images or using stickers or using words. And I'm really loving that process. So I really wanted to share that. Now for this one, the reason I have another journal, and I know you're like, okay, why do you have two? And I've explained this before, but I'm going to explain it again. So basically, this is like a carryover journal. Sometimes I cannot fit my end of the day emotion in this planner here, in this planner and journal, and I need more space to write about what I'm feeling, to write about anything that I'm going through. Like, I did a writing exercise here with the word forbidden and what that meant to me, and I wanted to have a writing exercise where I start challenging myself with words and thoughts and emotions, and I wanted to do that here, right? There's other things, like this image right here is of my work bullet journal, and it was so invoking because it's like setting the tone for January, for creative expression, for me doing what I need to do with work. And I just loved how I created this spread, and it was so inspiring because it allowed me to get my creative juices flowing with what I want to journal or what I want to write about. And the same thing here. So like I'm using magazine images, I'm using stickers from Serica Studios, I'm using book pages, and I'm writing about how, you know, this day I was feeling like a paper bag because I was so achy. And, you know, even looking at these, I can tell what I'm writing. Taking up space, being visible. I wrote about that. If We Were Villains got like a 2-page spread here because I wrote about it here, but I really wanted to write about the character. I wanted to capture the words, and I wanted to capture certain things about this book. And I did that here because I wanted more space to finish writing my thoughts, and I did. And I so appreciate and love that. Then here it was just, you know, kind of the same thing, a busy day, getting ready for, you know, running errands, appreciating my journal, you know, kind of just how I spend my afternoons, what I was feeling about that. This is me overthinking running all these errands. Like, this was my facial expression. But then at the end of the day, I was happy and I got my groceries, and it says thank you there. I watched Ragnarok, really love that show. I'm into Norse mythology. As you can tell, I really love Steve Urkel here, the little pop toy. So I wrote about him because I was so excited when I got him that day. This was just me kind of getting myself ready for Monday, to give me my best, to those who deserve it. Like, I just wanted that there. I think it was so important to start off on a Monday. And then here it was like, oh my goodness, like this is how I literally felt emotionally this day. The hair was all over the place, and I was just like, oh my goodness. I even broke up a quote because it was just, for me, at the end of the day, it was a lot going on, a lot of stress, and I just wrote that feeling there. Then my husband and I watched the show Missing You. So as you can see, like whatever I wrote here, sometimes I can't write everything, so I even write more now. So it's the opposite. Last year I was like not writing enough because I didn't feel the need to. Now this year, for some strange reason, it's like coming out of me. So I don't know. Yeah, so I really love that limited series on Netflix. So good. And there's a book. I almost want to get the book because I want to read it. But it was so good. And it's like the facial expression, like her at the end figuring out who did what and knowing the true story. And there was a song that kept on playing throughout the limited series, which was Missing You. I'm not missing you at all. You know that song? And then here is the ninth house. This is me thinking about the main character, going back like in time, seeing what they call ghosts as grays, you know, even seeing things from back then, like a phone and things like that, and me talking about the ninth house. So that's how I use it to kind of find self-discovery, you know, basically discover my emotions, connect that, let go of all my feelings, write whatever I'm thinking, brain dumping. It's allowing me to discover myself again, discover my creative expression, my creative kind of like flow, and really embrace that. And lastly, I have here my journaling supplies, aka what I'm going to use. I'm going to stick this in here because this was part of this page, but I'm going to use that to create some spreads today. So I'm going to keep that in here. And I'm also going to use probably some stickers to create some spreads here and probably go into the monthly. I will probably share images on Instagram. If you're not following me, definitely follow me. But yeah, so that's that one. All right, so let's talk about my journaling supplies and accessories. I purchased this off Amazon. I had a set budget. We all know that when you purchase sticker sheets from shops, they're about $4 to $7 a sheet. This entire book was about $8. And I wanted to get a book that kind of captures my personality, my aesthetic. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using like the female stickers much, but maybe. But this was like $7.95, and it has like several pages here, and it goes by a color theme. So this is the pink theme, and I really like pink and neutrals and black and white. So I definitely am gravitating towards that. And I just love that there's some pictures in here that I can utilize. There's some images in here that I could utilize in the spreads. And not everything is obviously catered to me, but I can use images or stickers or phrases in here. And if I want to, if I'm reading a book or I relate a character to maybe these stickers, then okay. But I just really love the stickers in here. And I was like, oh, this is pretty. And all these pages for like $7.95. So I wanted to get that, and I definitely purchased it because I said, why not? And then I'm going to show you, I have like a little drawer set here, but I'm going to show you my exact supplies and what I use. So first of all, to tape all my things, I use the tape runner here. Okay, I use that. This is so great for like taping in magazine pages. I also use like magazine clippings. I ordered these from Art by Natty, but on Etsy, but you can also just take whatever magazine you have, any magazine. Uniqlo has like a magazine that comes out every season, and it's in their store. If you go shopping in their store, you cut out words, you cut out images. Not all these images relate to me. Like, I don't know if I'll use that, you know, but it's just like, you know, sometimes you can get expressions like this would be a good expression of what happened today, you know, like with everyone talking about like, oh, the desperation of losing, you know, TikTok and all that. So you can relate images to emotions. You can relate images to feelings. You can relate images to how you want to write paper. I love this. I just love that word right there. You can relate that to what you're reading. And I created like a little mini folder, and I just literally put it in here because I'm like, oh, if I want to take some stuff on the go, I could just put in there. But yeah, so these are all magazine images that I can definitely use depending on what I'm feeling, what I'm writing. I literally look through the images and kind of, you know, figure out what I'm going to use. Then there's these stickers. I also ordered these from Amazon. They're like vinyl stickers. These are like a neutral aesthetic or 90s aesthetic. You could look up dark academia aesthetic. These are all like vinyl stickers on Amazon, and I think they were like $5, and it comes like in a pack. And I like going through these because sometimes I can find, you know, something that I'm writing about using an image, or like, let's say I'm talking about like computer, watching TV, I could use that, you know, eating breakfast, a quote here, French fries, like did I go out to eat, you know, reading books, things like that, sugar. So there's different images. You could look up whatever, like, you know, vinyl stickers, dark academia aesthetic stickers on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure you can find that. So I'm going to put that here just so we can see it. And then finally, this is probably one of the things that I love. This was literally brown pieces of paper that came with my my purchase of a planner cover. You could also get brown paper bags and kind of tear those up and use those. Literally, this was like book pages. You see this? This is a book page, you know, and I ordered this by Art by Natty on Etsy. But you can take, like, let's say you read a book, and instead of like donating it or you know, doing whatever with it, unhauling it, you can use the pages in your journal. It's literally pages of a book. You purchased it. I mean, you can do that if you want to. If not, you can just kind of like, you know, order these pieces of ephemera on Etsy. And I have other drawers here. Like, I've purchased plenty of ephemera. These were all from Etsy. Like, I did a whole bunch of like ephemera shopping, except this is like not my style this year. So they're still in the drawer and they're just there. And whenever I go back to a specific style, then I will definitely, you know, use those again. But I have a whole bunch. This is like, you know, PET tape here. And some of these could actually go in the journaling spreads because depending on what I'm reading or what I'm writing. But oftentimes I'm starting to just use what's around me unless I need to buy a physical like stickers just for collaging, then I'll do that. But I set a budget. I'm really not trying to overspend because I want to make sure that I'm being mindful of how much I'm spending on my supplies and journaling. And I want to, you know, kind of be mindful of that and not produce waste or buy things that I'm not going to use because that is wasteful. So I really hope this gave you ideas on how have self-discovery. Like it's good to have an emotion, write it down, process it, take something away, break a quote down, and really discover what that means to you, to yourself. You could also use these spreads to really drive creative inspiration and think about ways that you can either create, you know, pieces of content or whatever it is you're doing, art or writing pieces, or, you know, kind of using your notebooks to kind of really get those creative juices flowing. There's so many things that you could do with journals, and I really have been loving my journals so much. So thank you again for watching, and until the next time, bye bye.